And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with a modded showdown between the Flaming Scimitar, which is a sub-faction of Araby, facing off against the Ugma Tribe, who shall be led by Falcon and Chief Ugma, who is the only Lord option. But nonetheless, guys, this is another battle using the OVN faction mod, which is really, really fun. Of course, you guys saw the Chaos Dwarf versus Truthsayers of Albion battle a couple days ago. But nonetheless, guys, this is going to be another really fun one for you. So as far as my Lord goes, we do have the Golden Magus. So tell me this isn't badass. So this dude is riding on a boat. He's being carried by genies. He's got archers, a massive flaming sword, and it looks like he's also carrying a lamp as well. Dude, that is so cool. I love it. But he has some really neat abilities. But anyways, this is one of the Araby sub-factions. The main difference between the different Araby factions is, of course, they each have their own unique legendary lord. I think one of them has like Sultan Jafar, who is like a death caster that has some neat abilities, and they're all pretty different, which I think is cool. Now, Falcon's going to be playing the Ugma Tribe, which is just like troll army on steroids, basically. So they have cheaper trolls, they have more elite trolls. It gives you a massive variance of trolls, all of which are, actually pretty decent, right? You can see these Chaos Stone Trolls, for example, looking pretty badass for sure. They actually have, 83 base leadership, which is really, really crazy. That's largely due to the Stone Skin ability here, which gives them, let's see here. So leadership is broken, hit points less than, if they're above 50%, they get like a huge leadership buff and physical and magic resist. So right now they're 30 and 75 on magic. Pretty cool stuff. So for my army, we got some Araby flying carpets. So, neither Falcon or I in this matchup are bringing like, the most tuned armies that are possible. So we got the flying carpets. They're just like, kind of hawk riders, and they're pretty ridiculous for sure. I mean, just look at these guys riding on the carpets, dude. It's so funny. And over here, these are probably the better units in my roster. The Chimera Ulnar, and these guys are Manscores. They do fire damage and magic damage, unfortunately, which I didn't realize. And a lot of Falcon's trolls have like 75% magic resist and whatnot, so they're not going to be super good, but they do shoot fireballs, which is really, really cool. Now for my ground force, it's going to be Sharkus Slaves. So these are basically just like peasant mobs. These guys just take a beating for the peeps. And they actually don't have bad stats. 26 melee attack, 28 weapon strength for how cheap they are. That's an absolute steal, man. I did not notice that. The rest of our army is going to be Araby Spearmen, very basic stuff, anti-large spearmen, and it looks like I do have ward save on all my units. I think that's for my Lord. Yeah, so we have the Golden Magus. Like I said, the Golden Magus is really good. He causes terror. He has ward save himself. I think he has an aura here. The Wrath of the Djinn. So this gives miscast chance, plus 50% to himself, disabled. Okay. And then he does also have Sirocco, which is basically a Mortis Engine effect, which isn't going to be very good against Falcon's army because he has mostly trolls, but it still sounds really cool. He's got Mistral, so he does give nearby allies the ward save, which is why I was kind of in this box formation. We got a Crab Summon. We do also have Harmonic Convergence. He has spells from like 3 or 4 different lores, but I only brought those 2 just to cut cost. We do also have the Master of the Djinn, so he can summon a genie, which is really cool. And he's got the Flaming Scimitar, which does imbue allies with fire damage, which now that I'm seeing Falcon has magic resist, I'm understanding why many things in this game happen the way they did. All right, and now we have the Camel Lancers. So these are camel riders. They're dirt cheap, pretty bad combat stats, very squishy, but they do have anti-large. I figured let's get some cheap anti-large here and, show you guys what the camels look like. For the rest of the army, we do have some Jazales. Araby has some really, really cool camel Jazales. So they're not super quick, 60 speed, but they do have long rifles. So they're like Skaven Jazales riding on camels, which I think is so badass. So that's pretty much it for my army now. I think I covered everything more or less. And there's way more cool units on this roster, but since we were just playing like normal battle size, I couldn't show you everything. So I tried to bring the carpets and the Golden Magus riding on his skiff and the camels. And they do have war elephants as well. But since Falcon was playing a troll faction, I was like, I need to have like, not big monsters. So Southern Trolls are the dirt cheap troll, and they're pretty good. They have 18 models, all of which hit for 100. But the thing about them is they only cost like 600 gold, so this is an absolute steal. So you're getting like more cost-effective trolls, basically. Some of the trolls are quite bad on the roster, but some are very good. And here's the Chaos Trolls. I think they're really, really solid. You saw what they did. They get the massive magic resist, and they also do have the weapon strength and leadership buffs. Here we have the Bile Trolls. The Bile Trolls are kind of like river trolls, of course, in terms of the model, but they have... okay, so Host of Terrifying Afflictions. It's a hex, it lasts for 15 seconds around them, and it lowers leadership, speed, magic resist, but it affects your allies as well. So what you want to do is use these guys to bait your opponents to blob on them, and then use this to just nuke all their stats. I mean, that's really, really powerful, actually. And here are the Snow Trolls. These guys are really cool. This is a trio model, so there's only 3 of these Snow Trolls. And these guys have a Reckless Rampage, so if their hit points are greater than 50%, they do not get to use it. But if they're lower, they become unbreakable, they get vigor, they get all kinds of combat stats buffs, and they also have frostbite. Now, this tribe does have like some goblin chaff. Of course, if it was just trolls, it'd be kind of hard to actually have a functional army. But it's carrying squig hoppers, so yeah, just carrying squigs. He's got more carrying squig hoppers here. He does also have carrying goblin warriors, and that appears to be it. Oh, and how can we forget? He's got a river troll hag, of course, but Chief Ugma, the terror in the night. So Chief Ugma is kind of like Throg, basically, but more heavily armored, and he does have the armor-piercing poison. And he's got Overwhelming Odor. He's got Devour Them All. Wow, look at that! A map-wide buff that gives your entire army 50% missile resist. Oh my god, I was not seeing this during the game. I mean, I didn't notice it. Wow, that is really good. And he does also have Wall Breaker, so he can get through like the Siege Attacker trait. Okay, some really cool stuff here. So the battle's underway. My Manticores are going to be using their Fireballs. I figured I could kill a couple Bile Trolls, but I didn't realize they have like 9,000 HP. Whereas I think regular Trolls, yeah, you can see here the Southern Trolls have 600. But yeah, they're really tanky, so I didn't have enough to actually kill them here. In the meantime, my Jezzails, the Camel Rider Jezzails, are just sitting on the wings and just kind of taking pot shots downtown, trying to work on his Chaos Trolls, get what kind of damage I can, and my Carpets are just flying around kind of harassing, juking those shots with some sweet drifting action up there in the sky. And now my main army is going to be moving forward the Sharkus Slaves and, of course, the Golden Magus, preparing to engage the dreaded Goblin Hordes. As you can see, balance of power massively favoring Felcon's army. And like I said, these mods aren't terribly balanced for multiplayer. I've heard in campaign they provide a pretty awesome experience. But in multiplayer, you know, some units just are way more tuned in terms of like the balance of power and things like that. So you can see I'm taking a little bit of a penalty there. So here comes the Carrion Squig Hoppers charging in to engage against my my chaff units, and now the Golden Magus is getting in there on his boat. And look, the Genies actually attack. That's pretty cool. So you can see they obviously used the Mortis Engine effect. He replaced the Ghosts with the Genies here, which I think is a really cool touch. So I do have that Mortis Engine. I'm pretty happy to take a blob fight, and you can see fireballs are going down from my my Khmer Al-Nar, going after the River Troll Hag. I kind of learned my lesson there, trying to focus down his big trolls because of their HP and whatnot. So the Nagus is helping here. Nagus, I've been watching too much Deep Space Nine. The Grand Nagus is the Ferengi kind of financial leader, but yeah, in this case, it's not the same thing. Yeah, we do get our Manticores going in, and they do fire damage, and these trolls, I believe, do not have magic resist, just those big, scary Chaos ones. In the back, the Carpets have engaged, so we use the Carpets to shut down his archer lines and just cause some backline harass, and you know, they're actually kind of hard to kill. The Flying Carpets, for some godforsaken reason, have 80 armor, which I think is really funny. But they actually break the archers very quickly and lure back some of his other units. So we're keeping all his chaff away, which I wanted to just fight the trolls. Now, the Grand Magus is going to be summoning some Rotting Prometheans. And also, we're going to be pulling in our Manticores. And now we have a big Royal Rumble. So Chief Ugma and his various Chaos Stone Trolls and the River Troll Hag are battling my Spears, my Araby Spearmen, as well as the Manticore. But I kind of find that the Spearmen don't have enough DPS to really get through these big, scary armored trolls with those like crazy stat buffs and whatnot. Over here we do have the Camel Lancers coming in to do battle, so the Camels charging gloriously with their 60 speed into the Bile Trolls. But the Bile Trolls are quite terrifying for sure. And you can see many of my Camels are falling, but the Camels cost nothing. They cost like 450 gold. They're really, really dirt cheap. So he's also sending in his Snow Trolls, and the Snow Trolls will be quite scary. Devour Them All has been popped, so his entire army is getting missile resist, which means my Jezzails, which are shooting in the back, are probably doing next to no damage. But I just kind of camp these guys back here and just have them taking pot shots, and we're doing our best to wear down his big trolls. But my Camel Riders are being absolutely crumped, and they didn't kill a single model, and they maybe got like 1,000 HP off those guys, which is fine. You know, we gotta work that slow process. In the back, the Carpet Riders are just keeping his archers and various other units busy. And a big purple sun going down there from Felcon from his River Troll Hag does do some pretty good damage, actually tearing through my spears. And now you can see my Araby lines. The Spearmen are buckling here and running, and the Grand Magus is going to have to pull back. Manticores, one of them has gotten back up in the sky to drop a fireball, I believe. So we will be sending that Manticore back in a second. And yeah, that's the problem. I had him fight, the Manticores fighting the Chaos Trolls, Stone Trolls the whole time, which have that like massive amount of magic resist. If you can see here, they have the 50%. And I think they get even more. Yeah, 75%. So most of the time I was taking a 75% damage penalty on those units from my Manticores. Lesson learned though, man. Learning this sweet mod. Balance of power still in Felcon's favor. Obviously did start there, but we're working our way back towards the middle here. Now would have been a really good opportunity to grab some of my Carpets too and actually chase down these Stone Trolls. That would have been huge because they're still, you know, 12 of 12 models. So those guys can heal and come back at full fighting capacity. And yeah, I should have probably grabbed these Camel Jezzails and chased them down, but it's all good. We still got the scrap going. The Grand Magus is fighting and having a good old scrap with Chief Ugma, but Chief Ugma definitely doing some big damage here, and the Golden Magus is going to be sailing away here on his Mortis boat. Some of the Araby Spearmen do charge in there to start fighting those trolls again. I believe I had one more summon too in the back pocket. I can't quite remember. But the Promethean summons have been very, very useful here. So Camel Lancers coming back in to try and disrupt the archer lines and maybe chase down, and it looks like his Chaos Trolls have come back. Broken once again. My Camel Jezzails in the back, dropping some pretty substantial firepower on those guys. And now we got the Manticores coming in. Chief Ugma is broken, and for the first time in the game, you can see the bounce power is coming pretty heavily in my favor. And if we can keep Chief Ugma broken, it's probably going to be more or less game over. I did also summon my Genie, so the Genie has been summoned. It has bound fireballs, pretty good combat stats to boot. You can see 33, 37, 300, all sorts of resistances, and can also cast Sandstorm, which is really cool. So I think I was trying to get over here for a Sandstorm with the Genie. I can't quite remember, but Currently, he is battling one of the Bile Trolls and making his way towards the archers, because I don't want the archers sitting and just kind of taking pot shots at my Manticore. Certainly not a fun situation. So Jezzail's pretty low on ammo, but I could use them as something to chase the trolls off in the late game once I am finally able to break them. Chief Ugma is broken and definitely made another huge mistake not chasing off Chief Ugma, but I was so excited with all my new toys that I was missing these opportunities. Banishment coming down here, going to be tearing through some of the Goblin Archers while the Araby Spearmen kind of shank him in the legs here, but Falcon with a huge resurgence here of the Carrion Squighoppers, making their way back in to go after some of my Spearmen and these various other units. Pretty wild stuff indeed. The Golden Magus, the Flaming Scimitar has been imbued, or Scimitar. And the entire army here is going to be getting, or in this blob, is going to be getting fire damage, and the Manticore is going to be getting even better stats. Super cool stuff indeed. So I do send the Camel Riders to go after Chief Ugma, but my reaction was a little bit late. The other Camel Riders are going to be chasing down those Chaos Stone Trolls, which I believe are almost shattered. But Chief Ugma is no joke, dude. He is really, really tough to break. The 120 armor makes pretty much anything without AP pretty bad against him. And now you can see the Trolls are coming back. But we have pulled ahead pretty hard in this game. Balance of power has now come fully to our favor, as the Grand Magus sails about on his glorious skiff, just cackling and, doing what he does. Pretty cool stuff. But my Manticores are fighting in there, but these are Bile Trolls and Southern Trolls. The Bile Trolls are weak to fire, and my Manticore should be very, very good against those. My Khmer Alnar, and you can also see the Bound Jinn is doing some good battle. They do have a binding mechanic, though, so they disappear over time. It's called Return to the Lamp. So over time, those guys will be disappearing and fading into the Shadow Realm, which is quite neat. Camel Lancers surrounding, just trying to get a big Alpha Strike, really, and pull the Balance of Power in my favor, because Falcon's been able to pull it back because I did not chase down Chief Ugma. Had Chief Ugma been broken and chased off, I'm pretty sure this would be in the bag. I'd be able to break this stuff here. But with Chief Ugma being back, dude, it's no joke. He's healing. He's almost back up to 2,000 HP, and I don't have too much AP, so unless I can break him again, Bounce Power does come back in my favor as I'm able to break these Bile Trolls, I think. They're shaken. Can't quite tell. Fight or Die is active from Ugma. Really nice save right there. It actually saves those units. And now the Golden Magus is in there on his boat getting clubbed by Chief Ugma. What a badass, man. And yeah, his stats are pretty nerfed right now. It looks like he's quite poisoned and debuffed from my Genie. I think my Genie has some sort of a debuff there. Or the Wrath of the Jinn. I don't know. There's so many crazy abilities in this mod that it's tricky to keep track of them all. But anyways, here we do have the Bound Jinn going to be pulling back now, trying to get away here. Although maybe in retrospect I should have stayed and fighted, but I think I was just trying to pull him away from Chief Ugma. So right now we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding, because I realized at this point I got to use fireballs. I use a Sandstorm right there, which actually breaks one of the trolls. And my Flying Carpets are very damaged, but I'm going to be using them to just kind of poke and stroke here. So now the Camel Rider Jezzails have to get in and fight. I do have the Flaming Scimitar, which at least gives them fire damage. A little bit of a boon here against some of the troll units, but Chief Ugma uses Devour Them All. The missile resist active. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. And also giving a speed buff to the trolls. And the Golden Magus is like, oh man, I'm starting to be in trouble this game. Balance of Power is even. Another Fireball coming in almost breaks that character. And now my Genie's coming back, but he returns to the lamp. I don't have him anymore. And with the Genie gone, the Balance of Power goes in Falcon's favor super hard. And you can see Chief Ugma and the boys just chasing down my Araby swordsmen. And right now I basically have to make one final fight. So I'll of course pause once we do get to the final battle here. But the Carpets are just kind of poking. Chief Ugma comes and basically just, I think he causes terror too. No, he only causes fear. But the other trolls here that he does have, yeah, the Bile Trolls cause terror. So them being nearby is going to be enough. And my dudes just scattered to the winds. And this is it. This is the final battle. So the Carpets are being sent in. The glorious Carpet charge in the back. The Jezzail units charging in. More Carpets flying in. I know I can maybe break the trolls. And if I can maybe surround Ugma here, I can come back in the fourth quarter of the game. Maybe so. And you can see the Bile Trolls are falling and breaking. They're broken. I am able to imbue my boys with fire damage. Is this going to be the comeback? Is it? No. Chief Ugma is too strong. And my army shatters due to army losses. Well played to Falcon. It was an awesome, fun game. Obviously, you got to remember, you're playing a troll army. You got to chase them down. If you don't, you're going to lose. And, dude, it was just so much fun. Now, Araby has some really cool units. We could go over, obviously, the tactics and whatnot, but obviously, come on. We're just here to see some new crazy stuff. As far as custom battles go, we can take a look here at some of the different tribes and whatnot. But, yeah, so Araby has the Caliphate of Araby, which has the Sultan Jafar. And you can see they even have their own caster, which has his own lore magic here. You can see Sandstorm, and he has Quicksand, Burning Hands, the Curse of Jinn, and Mirage. So you can summon like illusions and whatnot. But so many different types of infantry: Pit Fighters, Dervishers, Arabian Guard, Southland Warriors. You obviously have baseline archers. Really cool heavy cav, actually. You have like kind of a Reichsguard type cav with the Cephius here, and the Arabian Knights. All sorts of camel units. Sorry, guys. Just drank a bunch of coffee here. Arabian Ogres, Giant Scorpions, Genies, Giants. And each of them actually has a campaign exclusive unit. So, for example, if we go to the, let's find out. I wanted to show you guys this. It's, if you guys, again, enjoy this stuff, maybe I'll do a spotlight on all the different factions so you guys can see and, fire it up with your pals and have a good time. This is the one I was playing, the Flaming Scimitar, which does have the Grand Nagus. And Magus, I'm so deep in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I just can't get that right. But they have a really cool unit. I almost brought it in the battle. It's the Great Sultan of Flame. So let's actually fire this up and see what it looks like together against like this Haggard Beastman army. It's really fun. So again, I'll be doing a couple events with it, just kind of, you know, not going to be like big prizes on the line. It's more going to be like showcases to see like how these armies fare against each other. And I do have a halfling battle on the way. That'll be the next one we'll be putting up here on the channel. Will be the halflings versus, I can't remember who they're fighting, but it's one of the cool sub factions. Halflings are pretty memey. All right, so they have, okay, so he's like a special genie type character. He's got Flame Burst, so it's a bombardment. He's got Flame Storm, and he does also have, and I think he's unbinding. Let's check. Yeah, so he has a timer. You can see, yeah, okay. So he has to return to the lamp after a certain amount of time. Oh my god, I hope somebody uses this in the tournament. So let's see how like destructive this guy is. I mean, for the price you're paying, like an arm and a leg. He's very squishy, but you can see here he has huge physical resist, missile and magic. So, all right, so let's go ahead and start trying out his bombardments. Let's do this, see what that looks like. Okay, so that's the same as the Arachnarok Spider from the Greenskin campaign. It's not like super strong, really. And from here, he's got Return to the Lamp. Does he have any other like AoE abilities or anything? Doesn't really look like it. So he's got Piercing Bolts, which is quite nice, and then Flamestorm also. So yeah, he's got all kinds of neat abilities here. But yeah, he could easily solo the solo. Oh my god, that's an instant cast Flamestorm, I think. Wow. Wow, that's really good. Okay. As far as like his combat prowess, let's see. He's got 412. He's got anti-large, so he's not going to be super good against lords and stuff. Oh, get in there, buddy. The Great Sultan of Flame. Yeah, I wanted to bring it in that battle, but I was concerned that like he would just disappear like too early. So instant cast Flamestorm. Yep, instant. Wow, that's really good. I think the Piercing Bolt still has a cast time. Yeah, it looks like it does. Cool, so you guys get the picture. Again, if you guys are interested in these mods and all the mods I am using, they'll be in the description below. I'll have links to everything you need and all that sort of good stuff if you want to try it out. They all have campaigns too. We can actually show you guys that real quick. So obviously these mods are generally designed for campaign, right? So, but you know, I like to throw them in multiplayer because it makes for a truly Haggard experience. But we do have the, Mortal Empire. So you can see they add a new elf campaign, the Citadel of Dusk. We have the Amazons, who are really, really cool, actually. And then if we keep looking here, we have the Dread King. So this is, you started the Great Mortis Delta, like by the Pyramid of Nagash, and it's a whole new faction there. We have the Mootlin, the Halflings. We have the Grudge Bringers, which I think are a roving camp of mercenaries. Yeah. Here's the 3 Araby factions. You can see they all have their own campaigns. Chaos Dwarves. And there's a bunch more, I think, yeah. We have the Warlock Harkin comes with this. I don't think the Blood Dragons are in the multiplayer, but you can use them here. We have the Truthsayers of Albion, Chief Ugma, who you just saw. Looks like this one's under construction, so that's work in progress there. And also the Killing Eye of Ghostfells. That's like the Famir tribe. Really neat stuff. And yeah, last but not least, we have the Lamont Doll. I don't know if this one's finished, but yeah, really, really cool stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.